These guys gathered last week in Italy because they took this picture using a new method of tomography, from which they built 3D models that reveal internal artificial structure. They added in their scientific research that these pillars exist beneath the plateau, extending below the pyramids for approximately 2 kilometers beneath ground level. That's 2 kilometers, man. They said the tomographic images clearly reveal the structures exist beneath the plateau, extending below the pyramids for approximately. These structures form a vast area of non-natural constructions following complex geometries. 2 kilometers is crazy, because the technology used relies on vibration. The vibrations pull a Doppler shift in the frequencies, which is how they extract them. And it's also why it's named Doppler. They ping a radar across some terrain and track what comes back. You do this again at some other time, calculate an interference pattern between the two results, and that tells you how much the ground has moved. So technically it's possible. But why it's hard on 2 kilometers is because these wavelengths are easily blocked by big layers of rock. Even trees can block them, which is why you'd have no phone signals if you were in the Amazon forest, for example. They say that's not what they did. Instead, they claim that they were tracking vibrations of the surfaces of the pyramids and of the ground. And these vibrations encode what structures there are inside. How did they do that, and why their technology is different? They combined both, tomography method and radar method. Now, how did they turn that from this to this? Some of the researchers that participated in this discovery claimed in an earlier paper from 2022 that they used this method we're talking about to find structures inside the pyramid. So same method to find almost the same result, which is in this case that there are structures existing beneath the pyramids. The problem with this paper is that there is no discernible relation between the tomography images in the structures that they supposedly identified. On the right is their measurement. On the left, you see overlaid the chamber we know is there, but their signal is elsewhere too. So why are we specifically talking about the chamber and leaving everything that's surrounding it? It was widely criticized and mostly ignored because they had no explanations for how they identified the structure. So same method, same people, same structures beneath the... There's a difference between the 2022 paper and this year's paper, which is, as they say, they let the AI do the job this time. It was a computer that identified it, not a human being. We know that because it was mentioned in the press conference and one of the authors wrote about it 2 years ago. But the problem is the depth, man. 2 kilometers is crazy. Volcanologists use vibrations too, with seismic waves, but they place sensors on the surface before doing so. Not satellites, aircraft, or drones. Seismic waves typically have wavelengths in the range of 15 to 100 meters. Only. That's like, we're talking the limits, man. Even the magma chamber in this picture, it was in that range too. So even though the 2022 paper was criticized, it was more logical than this one. The claim that they detected structures at 12.5 hertz up to 2 kilometers deep is hard to accept. And when the researchers heard the criticize, they just ghosted everyone. Despite all of this, here's why it could be true. Despite criticisms that the current Doppler tomography and radar technology we have cannot penetrate stone at that depth, there is something called quantum radar, which there are plenty of theoretical advancements on. If the researchers had access to a classified or a cutting-edge version, they could easily bypass traditional limitations. There's also what's called gravitational field mapping, which if an underground city exists, it would create small but detectable shifts in the Earth's gravitational field. NASA's GRACE satellite already maps underground water using similar methods. These researchers, whenever they come up with research papers of their own, they seem to be hiding something. That's why they do not reply. To move away from conspiracy, there is historical evidence that an underground system exists. Herodotus described vast underground chambers beneath the pyramids, allegedly used for storing knowledge. The Lost Hall of Records also described the long-rumored underground library, said to contain texts from Atlantis, supposedly hidden beneath the Sphinx in the pyramid. When Napoleon invaded Egypt, some secret reports, which are now missing, suggested discoveries beneath the pyramid that were never disclosed. Another thing is the computer that they use. AI-based 3D mapping has been dismissed because it relies on interpreted data. But what we know is AI can detect anomalies invisible for human analysts, and that's by compiling massive datasets. If they train their AI model using past geological scans, satellites data, and historical records, the AI may have reconstructed something human experts aren't trained to recognize. Critics argue that something that is AI created does not mean it's real. But if the AI is backed by thousands of datasets, could it be more accurate than what we think? The technology to discover such thing already exists. The US military used synthetic aperture radar to map underground bunkers in the Gulf War. This tech was ahead of what civilian scientists had, and that was a really long time ago, which is why China and the US are rumored to have deep Earth imaging capabilities for locating underground bases. This isn't theoretical, they've already been using this. And the discovery is so interesting because it connects the dots to numerous cases where deep hidden chambers or networks have been discovered beneath pyramids worldwide. The pyramids in Mexico, which in 2003 scientists discovered a massive underground tunnel system beneath the Pyramid of the Sun, and they were detected using ground-penetrating radar, which later examinated, proving their existence. The tunnel runs 103 meters and contains mercury, possibly mimicking underground rivers. Same thing for Chi'an pyramids in China. In 2022, scans suggested large underground structures beneath other pyramids in the region, but the Chinese government has blocked further research. Indonesia's pyramid in 2023, scientists confirmed that it's a pyramid buried under a mountain, extending at least 30 meters below the surface. Ground surveys suggest hidden chambers that have yet to be explored. So there seems to be a global pattern of underground tunnels in ancient civilization. Of similar claims were proven proven true elsewhere, why not in Egypt? When it comes to science, Egyptian pyramids aren't just random piles of stone. They have unique properties that could amplify detection methods. A 2018 Journal of Applied Physics study found that the Great Pyramid of Giza naturally resonates with electromagnetic waves, which means that certain frequencies could travel deeper underground than usual. Even without AI interpretation, scientific studies already confirm hidden voids beneath Giza. Like, subscribe, peace.